future, kung may makita tayong girl, flaunting her wealth, alam mo na po siya, teka, sino ba tate na to, nanay na to, ano ba trabaho nila? O kung customs pala yan, ay po, siya kaya pala.
Right.
So yun lang, that was more the idea, and I wanted to show the background behind it, the people behind these girls that are flaunting. Interesting enough, sabi ni, I forget who it was, one of our friends said, bakit daw yung mga babae lang yung finisher ko, hindi yung mga lalaki?
Right.
Well, kasi yung mga lalaki don't flaunt like that eh. Di ba? I haven't seen a guy...
Except,
Meron?
I have one person in mind. Edu Manzano.
Right, well...
Edu Manzano, I mean, that guy, amazing guy, wonderful guy. I mean, what is your feel about Edu Manzano? Medyo outshining Edu Manzanas, our beloved Sir Ronald Llamas. No, like, he's all over the place. At first, I thought it's funny. And then parang medyo na-epalan na ako, nag-cliche na ako. I was like, dude, I think we got the point. And I think he's beginning to enjoy it a bit too much. I think like, nagpa-flex na ito eh. This is looking like a flex. Like you look at his latest picture this morning, 6 a.m. Parang kung sino-sino mga artista hinahaway-haway ko. Sometimes I get into the mood, di ba?
Okay, well for me, I have a different take on it. If you look at it, I don't know, it looks like AI to me, unless it's not. Doesn't
Kasi
it look,
he looks very young and
tingnan mo,
all.
it looks very AI. It looks like it was AI generated.
Oh.
I don't think that was a real picture. It
Of
was an
Edu
AI
Manzano.
generated photo. But I could be wrong. But take a look at it, and you might be surprised if it's AI. Kasi nga, I mean, unless he really has a, was it a Rolls Royce he was in, or a Bentley? I don't know which one.
Yung may Hermes tapos may
Yeah,
umbrella.
yeah. Oh, and even yung set niya with the, I think it was he was standing and
Construction site.
construction. Yeah. Pag tinignan mo, it looks AI to me. But again, I could be wrong. Ang point ko lang more than anything is, hey, he's having fun with it. He's poking fun at the problems with regards to corruption, with the nepo babies. I think whatever it takes to be able to get the point across, I'm okay with. And if it's comedy that's gonna do it, if it's through photos, posts, video, doesn't matter. As long as you get the point across and more people are made more aware about the problems of nepotism, and not just nepotism, corruption, then I'm all for it. So I'm not as affected.
Well, ako, we already have Edu Manzanas. I don't think we need Edu Manzano anymore. And kanina nagtatroll ako, parang mirror, grok. Meron bang political ambition si Edu Manzano? Ang dami lumabas eh. May mga mali si Grok. Actually, I corrected him yung isa, yung anak niya yung tumakbo, hindi naman siya. But, we know this is a guy who has had political ambitions.
Yes.
Na-disqualified lang kasi siya sa COMELEC the other year. But he was, I think, vice mayor, or he tried to run for congressman and mayor in Makati. He did Senate, etc. So some people are wondering whether AI generated. The one picture na kinoment ko kaninang umaga, I don't think that was AI. That looked like really in a nice posh place and there. Pero yung construction side, the cars, I think that was AI. But my sense is like this guy is enjoying it too much, and a part of me feels, what if there are people who are thinking, I want to do my own Zelensky, right? Like I comedy my way satirically into power. Remember, that's how Zelensky became the president of Ukraine. He had a satirical series about being the president of Ukraine.
Yes.
Sobrang na-click. He ran for president and then he became president. So I won't be surprised may mga artista dyan nang inisip nila, let's juice it, man. I'm not saying he's doing it consciously.
Yeah.
But I won't be surprised some part of his mind is saying, maybe this is the way.
And what would be wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that except I have one big problem. So, speaking of Vico, no? I'm super glad, so I have a video about Vico dun sa ating Instagram, and I'm looking at ang daming artista nagla-like dun. I mean, obviously maybe because he's a good-looking guy and everyone loves him, right? But, I love it. I love it that many people are getting involved, celebrities are talking out, etc. At yung sinasabi niya, dapat mandidiri tayo sa corruption, dapat denormalize natin. Okay, my problem with that is very simple. Like, yes, true, but medyo 10 years ago namin ginagawa yan eh. Napoles was 2013.
Yep.
So kahapon, or actually kanina I was posting yung article ko, parang going back in the memory trail, Huffington Post, 2013, sorry. October, November, I was writing about itong Luneta Revolution, which was more aspirational than reality. Yung 1 million people march.
Okay.
So my point is that 12 years ago pa lang, may outrage na tayo.
Yes.
Alam naman ng tao ng 5 stages of grief, di ba? First is denial, second is rage, and then eventually acceptance, then you move. Parang feeling ko, 2025 na, nasa second stage pa rin tayo. We're still in the rage phase. We're still not even in the bargaining phase, right? So, ang problem ko is, baka ang mangyari dito is, we'll just vent out some frustration, we'll just make some satire here, and then pag iba na yung news cycle, I don't know, Torre this week, next week something else
Yep.
crazy happens. Well, the Duterte trial is coming soon, and I hope to visit The Hague also to cover that soon. So, my fear is, baka hanggang keyboard warrior na naman tayo na outrage and cancel culture. We'll talk about your Nepo kids soon.
Okay.
And then we'll just stop there. And the reason I'm saying I'm not happy with that is because, first of all, I think it's a form of stagnation. Parang, okay, what's the next thing? And I'm not saying Vico is against that. I think Vico agrees with me that we should go to the next level. But I'm looking at Indonesia right now.
Yeah, that's bad.
I'm not recommending violence. I'm against violence. Baka na naman petition na naman ako. Meron na tayong petition sa Supreme Court.
Dagdagan pa.
Anti-terrorism, ano ba naman tayo ng mga tablet natin, ng mga kalaban. No, but what I'm saying is, you see, in Indonesia, people got so sick and tired
Yeah.
of the gig economy, the disenfranchisement. You think kurakot yung politician natin dito? You should meet mga politicians, man, in Indonesia. No offense, I don't want to name this. Next level, pare. Next level. Parang, they're like Philippines times 10, di ba? And they're a big country, right?
Yeah, they're big.
So yung billionaires sila is times 5, times 10 yung mga billionaires natin. So, anyway, and a lot of them have military background. Prabowo, Subianto used to be commander, military commander. Son-in-law siya ng dating dictator na si Suharto. Yung isang anak niya, medyo si Raul. Bro, you think mga Dutertes are, are like next level?
There's like 10 of them there, parang
Next
ganon.
level. And if you watch that movie by Oppenheimer about yung genocide na nangyari noong 1960s, 1964, nung pinatay up to 1 million communists in Indonesia or suspected communists in China, you'll know this country has a very dark history. Anyway, my point is this. In Indonesia, even if mas develop sila sa atin, even if actually subsidized on oil and gas, inflation is lower, housing is better. I know this. My previous partner, she was part Indonesian, Australian. So I used to go a lot to Indonesia, and I familiarize myself with that country. At some point, the people said enough is enough. So when there was a protest, accidentally, or maybe not accidentally, yung isang policeman, binangga niya yung parang isang Grab driver.
And that was the spark.
That was the spark na parang the complete desecration of dignity and life of ordinary gig economy. Kasi lahat nag-gojek sa Indonesia eh. It's a very gig economy. Walang masyadong, good quality jobs. Like Philippines is a service-oriented economy. Maraming precariat, underemployed. And there you have students who are really activists in like 1970s Filipino style.
Okay.
And this thing has exploded. And as we speak, multiple cities across the country are really affected. Police stations are being burned down. A regional parliament was burned down. Things are so scared. But let me just short circuit this. Prabowo, who's kind of like Duterte guy, he had to back down. And nag-offer siya to cut down yung perks and privileges of politicians.
Bumigay, ah.
And the very first thing, nag-apologize siya for the excesses of the police and called for the investigation. So no denial, no parang any effort to distract. Immediately they went for concession, except I don't think it's enough.
Yeah.
So do you see where I'm coming from? So Indonesia, pare, at some point, ayusin na natin to. I'll take things into my own hands. And my feeling is, we're even worse off than, our average folks are worse off than average folks in Indonesia. GDP per capita income, in terms of access
Poverty
to
level.
Healthcare, my friends na Indonesian, they have universal healthcare. Yung nagkasakit yung ama nila. They have.
Okay.
The dad had very serious condition, but if this were in Philippines, 5
Wala
million
na.
bayad, he paid nothing.
Wow.
Ako, my dad got sick the other month. I had to pay 500,000 pesos for 5 days lang dun sa Like, so my point is, an average Indonesian has a better life than an average Filipino. And yet, they said enough is enough and took things. Now, I'm not saying let's go that level.
Yeah.
Sila level 10 na sila eh.
Right.
Tayo, parang level 2 pa lang tayo. Why
Yep.
can't we go level 5, which is make a strong movement, push for reform, push for change. Except last time I checked, the only movement we have is mayors for good governance, na ang daming dynasties, ang daming mga ex-DDS
Na pumirma doon.
or secret DDS, and then si Lenny ay nag-observer status na lang, understandably. I want to talk about that. Let's go about that. Good governance, mayor for good governance.
Yeah, to begin with, it was, di ba, Magalong was the one who kind of spearheaded this
Shout
whole,
out kay Mayor.
yeah, this whole movement for good governance, It's a little bit, for me, hypocritical, to be honest with you. Kasi, I mean, when you're mayor for good governance, be sure you're not selective about good governance. Kasi, I mean, honestly, for me, Mayor Magalong comes across to me as a little bit of a Duterte apologist. Nakikita ko sa kanya, he's not willing to call Duterte out for the corruption that Duterte has visibly, blatantly shown. How he lied about his wealth, how, in the Senate hearing, nakita naman natin lahat yun, di ba? I'm sure Magalong saw it. I'm sure he's a smart guy. So why couldn't he call out Duterte? So for me, the fact that he can't call out Duterte reeks of a lot of hypocrisy. Kung good governance ka, lahat ng corrupt, call them out. Wala kang dapat sinasanto. I'm willing to call anyone out. Kaya nga walang masasabi sa akin ng mga DDS, yung mga sumusuporta kay Duterte, because I will call out any corrupt politician. But that includes Duterte. He's one of the most corrupt. Kitang-kita naman yun with our own eyes. I mean, all you have to do is mamulat lang mata mo at mag-isip ka lang ng konti, you will see it. So yun ang ano ko lang doon. That's why I understand why Lenny did not sign off on that. That's why she went observer status. I think it was almost just to to satisfy lang
yeah.
Yun lang yun.
We'll see you in your events. Parang ganun.
Parang sige na, okay sama. Pero, if I
Which
was...
shows she's smart.
Yeah.
Which shows Lenny's smart.
Sure, parang makikisama ka na. Pero if I were that, I wouldn't sign it. I wouldn't sign it. And then they ask me why I won't sign it, and I'll explain. Because if you look at the people there, not all of them are really for good
Daming
governance.
dynasties doon.
Yeah, and exactly. A lot of them
Daming dynasties
are just
pala.
doing it for show. A lot of these people are
So
doing it for show.
performative sa tingin.
Yes, I mean, come on. This whole political arena is performative. Hasn't it been? Hasn't it been a performance para sa ating mga kababayan? Tayo ang audience na binubudol nila, dito naman tayo, next scene. Dito tayo titingin. Ngayon, nagtatawanan ng mga DDS nga Why? Sabi lang, buti nakatingin na tayo kay Zaldico ngayon. Nakalimutan na si Sara. Nakalimutan na, teka lang, may motion for reconsideration sa Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Biglang hindi na napag-uusapan. Suddenly, they're saying, well, Sara only took 100...
Distraction.
Yeah, 125 million na naman kay Sara. Tingnan mo itong mga buhay na to 5 billion. Yung 125, yun lang yung nakita natin.
Yes,
The
it's the tip of the iceberg, my
Yeah,
friend.
exactly.
Yeah.
612 yan. 612 million. Yung pa lang yung nakita so
Saka
far.
yung flood control projects.
Ni Pulong na 51 billion. So ang dami niyan. So please, don't get me started. So yun lang sa akin. That's why it's ironic for me that mayors are calling for good governance where we know for a fact there are a lot of local executives that are also very corrupt. Pero ngayon they're making everyone look at just Congress. Look at Congress, look at Senate. Teka lang, sa inyong sariling lungsod, yung mga pinuno ba nyo doon? Yung mga mayor ba nyo doon? Matitino ba? Ha? Sigurado kayo dyan, pag-isipan nyo yan. Yun lang.
Can I make a counterpoint?
Sure, please.
Although people know I've been throwing shades already at our beloved mayor in Baguio, but from a position of love, medyo Carino
Sure.
Brutal, right? Una-una, I like that he's at least transparent about the fact na feeling niya may utang na loob siya. Both on my show, I interviewed him during elections, and also on kabilang channel, let's just call it that way. Inamin niya na dahil tumulong sila bongo, yung administration ng pandemic, kasi diba Baguio tourism dependent kami. So nung pandemic talagang wala kaming tourism And remember, this time he was also the contact tracing czar.
Yeah.
Because he was working at a very high level using his CIDG skills. So parang basic na idea is dahil sa utang na loob, parang he feels it's a form of betrayal or medyo it's a bit off of him to attack the admin that helped his city to survive a difficult time. Of course, I don't agree with that, but I'm just saying, at least the guy is willing to admit that kaysa i-ano niya. So I appreciate at least that honesty, even though I disagree with that.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, in fairness naman again kay Mayor Magalong, he's not from a political dynasty. I don't know kung yung ka-debate mo gusto maging next mayor ng Baguio, then maging dynasty na yan. But ibang usapan niya, malabong manalo yan. But anyway, going back to this, in fairness to the guy, nung panahon parang ng Digong, nung first time siya tumakbo, he was already on this good governance issue, and I'm from Baguio. So, there are things,
Sure.
but he was never at that level na, alam mo na, I don't have to name the names of former mayors in Baguio or congressmen and all that. We had like Binay type people, let's just put it that way. He has been a huge improvement on those guys. And he's very smart, yes. But so for me, when he started this Mayors for Good Governance, actually I was very supportive. And I'll tell you what, I think he even said that on the record, but he can confirm it. In a piece around 2019, I wrote, dapat mga star mayors ay magsama. And I mentioned literally him and Vico and a couple of others. So somehow actually he credits me with the idea. And for me, when he started it, I really felt it was, and actually I attended the event, yung launching of Mayors for a Good Governance sa UP Diliman. I was there. Minute ko pa sa Libayan din. Nag-picture kami often after. So, my point there is, I think it started well. Ang problema ko lang is, the arc is suddenly not very encouraging to me because we have a good counter model. So you said it's a circus. I get it. But look at, in fairness kay Panfilo Locson, I used to call him Mr. JMRC dahil nag-aasaran kami ng election time. Wala daw kami JMRC ni Lenny, ganun. Remember, there was a time nag-press conference with Isko, tinira niya si Lenny.
Yes, I remember that.
So, tinira. Anyway, we had some, whatever. But Locson is actually a very good friend of Magalong. They come from the same world, PMA people, PNP people. In fairness to Locson, sabi niya, tignan mo yung flood control project over the past decade.
Okay.
Kasi yun yung talaga pinakamaraming pera. Hindi yung past 2 years, past 3 years, past decade. So actually, if you look at the Lacson numbers, it cuts across different administration. So you can go and talk to Sinson, the DPWD Secretary of Pinoy, and say Y, X, Y, and Z. And then you can go to Mark Villar. Wait, where's Mark Villar? He's in Blue Ribbon Committee calling for. And then you can also go to yung just recently semi-fired, self-resigned Bonoan DPWD Secretary. So, my point is dapat ganon. So actually, I find it weird na why he didn't do the Lacson way. And if you look at Lacson, hindi niya tinitira directly yung Duterte. Ang sinasabi niya, comprehensive tayo. So I think there's already a blueprint for that. Bakit di ginagawa ni Magalong yon? Doon ako disappointed eh. You have a way out. Right?
Yeah.
The Lacson way. And okay, may utang na loob ka, you don't wanna attack directly, I don't know, Bongo or his family or okay, but at least say, tignan natin lahat ng flood control project over the past decade or so. In fact, you can go up to 15 years. We're having discussions about the next ombudsman, etc. Pwede titignan ng ombudsman yan all the way. So, for me, masyadong arbitrary and very selective and self-serving, I would say. For self-serving is actually the right term. Natitignan mo lang, kasi wala nang unity ngayon, so titignan na natin. And let's not forget, BBM himself opened up this floodgate of flood control discussion, and the guy deserves at least some credit for that.
I was actually going to say, marami dito na nagsasabi na, tignan mo, pinaka-corrupt si BBM sa lahat dahil itong mga flood control problems na nangyayari sa kanyang panahon. You're right eh. What people don't fail to observe is he was the one who opened the floodgates by that SONA. But when he said, tama na itong mga corruption sa flood control, blah, 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 mahiya naman kayo, bam, that was the first salvo. The next one, he even goes as far as doing a press con to expose the top 15 contractors. That's where we got the information that these top 15 got 20% of the entire 545 billion of flood control. And then he even went up a step further to show that he wants to be accountable for all the BS na nangyari during his own administration, because he said, let's investigate only from 2022 to 2025. He could have said, let's investigate everything. So, he was gracious mga in that way. But at the same time, I want everyone to remember this, okay? Remember that this flood control issue happened all during the uni team, when they were together. So, nung naghiwalay na, dito na siguro...
May prematur.
I think this is when BBM said, man, these guys took advantage of me, my administration, to do all of this BS corruption crap na lumala.
Na nagsimula nung panahon ni Digong, some would say.
Yun, na nagsimula nung panahon ni Digong, and now that wala na rin listen, we've broken apart na, so I am gonna just call a spade, and kahit sino na kinabang, we're gonna go after everyone. And if you're on my side, and nangurakot ka rin dito na kinabang ka, then so be it. And I think that was the right way to go. So, remember what I said, that nung unity was together. In other words, the Dutertes and the BBM were still together.
Shared liability yan.
Yeah, exactly. So, the Dutertes, I think that was part of the deal na, basta, magagawa namin itong mga patuloy ang ligaya. Ayan. Tapos, nagkawatak-watak na, then BBM said, screw it. Let's just open the floodgates. So, I give him credit.
Yeah.
He is that, nagulat ako parang lack of a better word. Please, maybe if you can help me with a better word. He's that savior. I don't want to say savior. It's such a overstatement Pero that's what I meant He was the one that, we look to na, you're actually going to be the one to expose all the corruption? Damn, so be it.
Yeah, it's quite off-brand for Ferdinand Marcos to do the good governance stuff. But my
still,
point is, at least the guy recognized it, na isa sa mga dahilan na sobrang nag-underperform yung alyansa is because hindi nagtitrickle down economic growth, hindi nararamdaman ng taong bayan yung ano. So, naging very self-critical siya, di ba?
Yes.
And I think a bit too much sometimes kasi may mga may mga vultures na nakatingin eh. And that's why I'm saying he has to be careful kasi kung hindi ito this is not handled correctly, meaning comprehensively, objectively and all, i-weaponize talaga ng mga DDS, whether soft DDS or mga real DDS. I mean, Sara Duterte now is openly saying, pa-investigate yung Congress na yan. Wait lang, medyo we can start closer to home, right? That's my point. So, as you correctly pointed out, again, Deus Ex Machina, yung ginawa ni Marcos biglang opening up the floodgates, but he has to be careful how he handles it. And as we speak, to be honest, I'm trying to convince General Torre to take up the czar for flood control because I know marami nagsabi after what happened to him in the PNP, he should just give the middle finger and move out and become a hero. I think he visiting yung si Senator Leila de Lima was a good gesture na kami ang mga independent people, para sa bayan kami, matapang kami, will not be... I wish him the best. I think he's gonna take a leave until the end of the month almost. Let him enjoy all the leave. He's still gonna be the only 4-star general at hanggang interim lang yung ano. But I hope eventually he moves on and moves up.
Yep.
Moves on dahil yung PNP has to make a transition, hindi pwede nga sa interregnum. So my best wishes to the new leadership. Kaibigan natin si General Torre because of his principles and conviction, not because kaibigan ko siya, because I think he stands for national interest. But I want the Philippine National Police to continue mga reforms na sinimulan niya. At the same time, I think he deserves a secretary level. Alam mo yung position ni Frederick Go, yung na binigyan siya ng economic czar, na pwede niya i-coordinate yung different agencies, na actually parang super secretary pa nga siya eh.
Yes.
Pwedeng ganun ang bigay sa kanya, pero anything security and corruption, bibigay sa kanya. So if there's another ICC warrant of arrest, he should be there. If there's a flood control major arrest or investigation, he should be there. So I really hope, and my suggestion to him is negotiate a good mandate, and dapat hindi ito dumaan sa Commission on Appointments. Bakit? Kamo, yayarin siya ng mga DDS senators and all. So if it's a special presidential advisor Frederick Go style of czar, he doesn't have to go through that. He doesn't have to go through that. So, and my idea is, ayon sa isang lawyer na purong talo, ikarus daw ang nangyari sa kanya. Ako actually more like Phoenix. I think people forget. There's a reason why we didn't know about Torre for a long time. Because he had some detours in his career. Let's put it that way. May mga mali-mali din siya. In fact, he was somehow purged. Kaya nandun siya sa Mindanao. But he used it. He used that setback for a comeback with the Kiboloy and the Digong situation. And then now he's back here strong. And I don't know what Bato thinks, but I think he's one of the best representation of what Mindanao can offer us in terms of intelligence, in terms of integrity. Just like Justice Carpian and Secretary Lorenzana, there are many Mindanaoan friends I have. I love them, I respect them a lot. And unlike Bato, I think he could be the next PNP chief who could also be a statesman. Like what we're going to see. But we're going to discuss Bato in the next episode. So next episode natin will be about how Bato realized he asked the wrong question kanina. Like parang, kailan ulit kayo nagsimula mag-DPWH? Yan tuloy. So, let's talk about in the next episode, bro. The Mark Oleta gold standard of very independent, very objective hearing with Sarah with H. Discaya. Without the British accent. We converse in British accent. Hindi siya nagka-converse. So on that note, bro, some closing remarks before we move to our next beautiful episode?
No, that's it, man. I love what we talked about. Sana may natutunan kayo lahat din sa pinag-usapan natin. And I wanna add also that kung may comments kayo, whether you agree or disagree with me and Richard, feel free to write that in the comment section below. Alright? Sige, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Go ahead, bash us.
Yun!
Buya ka siya. May live dito! May live dito! Baka may... Careful. Yeah, may mga live, sorry. Okay, let's go to the second episode.
Alright.
Dire-diretso lang. Sorry about that.
How's that? No? Okay pa yung live?
Okay naman.
Sige.
Beautiful.
Alright, here we go. Countdown?
Talagang magaling si ate talaga.
Magaling siya, sanay na yan. Tama.
4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, okay. Welcome back, brother.
Again!
Dynamic duo, ito yung replacement natin sa Quadcom.
Pero sino si Batman dito?
Ako, siya. But I can take Superman once in a while.
Okay, if I wanna take Batman.
I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
So you're saying that I'm smarter. Batman's always been smarter than Superman.
Man of Steel. Ito yung Man of Steel. Yung nakaw, Man of Steel. Talaga yung mga man of steel. Let's talk about this. So, speaking of man of steel, kanina, finally, ito na. Mark Oleta, moment again.
Yeah.
Moment to shine. And just before the hearing, ang daming drama, inaway niya si Lacson.
Yeah.
You wanna talk about that? Yung away niya si Kiko, si Lacson. He's very turfing, no? Parang gusto niya siya line star.
Gusto niya talaga siya lang ang bida because nga, Marcoleta, he wants to appear as the smartest man in the room. Yun yung gusto, I mean, really, he does. Pero alam mo what I didn't like, and maybe, I want you to be the one to talk about what happened with Kiko and Lacson.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to watch the entire thing, so it's gonna be hard for me to give a good commentary. But what I will comment about with Marcoleta is this. Napansin ko sa kanya that he would inject these jokes in between the entire hearing. Yung may mga, last mo na yan, Jinggoy, nag-overtime ka na. Tapos nagtatawanan while you're in a very serious committee hearing about corruption that is taking people's lives and our livelihood. Kaya parang, that threw me off and I was off-put by that. Yun ang isa kong commentary on Marcoleta. Ngayon, ano yung nangyari with Lacson and with Kiko?
Yeah, first of all, with Marcoleta, nakita natin nung gusto niya mag-shine bigla nung the whole archiving catastrophe, right? Ganyan kami mga litigation lawyer pero hindi niya alam na may ganitong Supreme Court ka. Sayang lang si Soto if he did a bit better research, which Riza did. Sana he would have shut him down. So, clearly my grandstanding side to this guy.
Yes.
I think he really wants to prove himself. And biglang todo, hindi ako DDS, guest candidate lang ako, napitin lang. May mga ganun drama siya. But anyway, when Blue Ribbon Committee was given to him, ang dami nagtaas ng kilay. Like, what's going on? What's gonna happen here? Especially after everyone saw what happened dun sa the whole archiving drama.
Yeah.
Diba? In fact, he wanted the whole thing to be dismissed right away. Wala pa nga trial, hindi pa nga siya nag-oath. He's already killing the whole process. Right? So anyway, I've talked to a lot of people who are very worried about him being in that position, and the worry is somehow being manifested according to the critics. Ang nangyari kasi is si Kiko is saying you need really an objective, independent talaga na talagang walang bahid na duda. I'm sorry, but Marcoleta was clearly with Team DDS nung I don't know how he wants to acrobatics it. Obvious naman na malapit siya sa mga Dutertes and all of that. And kanina nga, nakita natin, the moment na si Soto, minention niya, you were appointed during President Duterte. Mr. Chairman, I think bro, I mean, come on. And then sobrang pinapasalita si Jinggoy, ang tagal-tagal. Wait lang, di ba convicted yung isang senator? But anyway, but my point is, and then Lacson, obviously, let's be honest, Lacson also has a pastar grandstanding side to him, except may case siya. No offense, but Lacson has cake. I don't agree with the guy a lot of times. Minsan skeptical ako sa kanya, but the guy has been doing this consistently throughout the decades. Bata pa lang ako, nakikita ko yung mga expose niya nung Arroyo administration. He has a track record of not getting pork barrel, although I'm not saying the guy is like 100% angel. But my point is, siya, kasi may case siya eh. Meron siyang track record sa itong issue na to. So I think for Lacson to naturally be in a kind of a driving seat of a proper investigation, for Soto to call for an independent People's Commission, for Kiko to say, sana yung chairman ay totally unaffiliated with any camp, it's a perfect reasonable thing. So yung nag-react si Mark Oleta na parang iniinsulto niya ako, ganun. Kaya sabi ni Lacson, inaaway mo ba ako? Like, naging ganun na, nagpikunan na eh. Grabe. And then kahapon si Kiko rin. So, the thing started really like weird. And now I want to ask you, like, how do you think really he handled the hearing kanina? I love the hearing because I think things came out. But what do you think of Mark Oleta, his handling of the hearing kanina?
So far, mukhang he's allowing the DDS-affiliated senators to really shine. Right? No problem. Listen, as long as may ma-expose, I'm good with it. But I've always been a skeptic. I'm gonna be observing. I'm actually going to watch that entire 5 hours. I'm gonna, hinimay ko na nga, inumpisahan ko na, pero I've only finished about an hour. Yun yung si Jinggoy na yung nag-interpolate. So dito...
Galit si Jinggoy, no?
Oh yeah!
The moral outrage.
Pero
sabi ko moral outrage.
So ironic eh. Kaya that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I really look at this thing as an entire circus. Because you have people that do not have the moral authority to be doing this whole investigation where they themselves are
crusade.
Right, this crusade. I mean, look at Bongo trying to now paint a picture na wala akong kinalalaman sa flood control. Hindi ko alam sino itong Discaya na to. Well, we all know, just came out nga, that Bongo's family actually partnered with the Discayas for a flood control project where they got like what, 800 million pesos or something. You can fact check
Everything
me
is
on
out there. There are a couple of articles on that.
Yeah,
right?
so parang please naman. So yun lang yung sa akin na nakaka-insulto na sa like Ronald would say, sa kabobohan ng ating mga kababayan na kawawa naman tayo. Hindi naman tayo, I mean, bobo na nga tayo, hindi naman tayo ganun kabobo siguro.
medyo
Wag naman tayo tinatrato na parang ganun ba tayo lahat kamangmang? Na ganun sila maggawa ng mga investigation. Yun lang. But, having said that, I'm glad a lot of the things that Discaya, with Discaya is coming out.
Let's talk about this guy. I mean, first of all, parang new look siya. Like red hair,
White outfit,
Oh.
yeah. And then trying to paint basically a very innocent,
prim and proper.
yeah, harmless picture.
English lady.
Yeah. Parang ganun yan eh. Pero what was revealing was what she said. Alam niyo, yung mga sinabi ni Discaya. Number one, una dinenay niya na, weird nga sinabi niya. Sabi niya na, I only represent Alpha Omega, that company.
Yeah.
But you have 9 companies, right?
Exactly.
But yes, we do. Pinaamin ni Jinggoy. So umamin din siya. And then, dito yung nakakagulat. Sabi niya that, how many projects, flood control lang have you guys done since 2022? She goes, I think around 400.
Yeah.
How do you do 400 flood
Tapos
control?
200 lang personal nila ang max? Or
200
something?
ang personal niya. So 400 flood control projects, that's over 100 a year. That's an insane amount. Okay, nationwide. So tinanong, ano ba?
Yeah, I disagree with you. You know why? Did you watch yung asawa niya nang tinanong sa kanya? Yung sabi nung, diskarte lang yan, hindi mo naman kailangan mag-engineer kasi bookish daw mag-engineer. Yung mga foreman lang daw, pwede nang gawin yan. Hindi na kailangan ituloy yung project. Baka kung gano'n, kaya-kaya yan ang project a year.
Oh, absolutely. And I bet you most of them nga are really ghost projects. So sinamon siya ni Jinggoy and said, sige nga, mapapakita ba na ng kompleto? May pictures daw. Ano kasi picture papakita mo? Isang kali o sa ilalim niyan, dyan yung flood control. How do I really determine kung meron yan? Unless we inspect it, di ba? So there are a lot of different ways it can be inspected. Because if ang ginagawa nila kasi ngayon, say 3 years walang ginawang trabaho. On the 4th year, gagawin na, tatakpan na nila. So hindi mo na makikita kung nagawa yung first 3. Makikita mo yung 4th ba yan, nagawa. Paano yung first 3? Wala na. So yun yung problem natin. And then, not only that, pag tinignan mo how many bids they got.
So 400 plus bids dun sa Alpha Omega lang.
No, for Alpha Omega,
400 bids. And then, kasi,
400 projects.
No. 400 projects in total.
Yes.
Pero Alpha Omega had 400 bids. She said they only won 73. Except that's not the only company. So once you bring the other companies, they did more than 400.
Yes. So, yung sinasabi niya, so tinanong sa Alpha
Kasi
Omega.
she was trying to make it look na, natatalo naman kami sa mga bids. So binoking siya. Except meron din kang ibang companies na nanalo ng bid na yan. Kaya nga naging 400 pa rin.
Yeah, so ang punto naman nun, yung sinabi nga niya, sabi, tinatanong namin sa'yo, tinanong ni Jinggoy, sabi niya, ang tanong dito ay, nung nagbibid ba yung Alpha na natalo yan, may mga sa 9 na companies mo, may nakasabay bang bid yung 9? Ay, yes po. Madalas po. So kung natalo yung Alpha Omega, nanalo siguro St. Timothy or St. Gerardo, kung ano pang mga kumpanya mo. So panalo ka pa rin. Yun ang punto.
That looks like a rigged bidding. Parang sila, sarili mong companies na nag-outbid.
Exactly. So obviously, I know what my other company is gonna bid, and then the other one, kumbaga, there's collusion.
Yeah.
So talagang there's something really wrong with the system. And she's making it look like, what's wrong with an honest business? Masama bang yumaman na negosyante? Oo, masama kung ganyan ang ginagawa mong negosyo. Na collusion, corruption, panggagago, and not fulfilling the project of the way it should be done. So there's so much that we have to unpack with this one na sana talaga makita sa Senado. But that was it. That was the big one.
We'll talk about this more. But just at this level, una for me, the datelines were important na una kasi pinapalabas niya na, hindi, tatay pa lang niya, contractor niya, so pinapalabas niya na mayaman na sila matagal. And then mamaya, hindi, kung 20 years ka naman sa business, normal naman maging billionaire, basically yung sinasabi niya. And then later on, so ano ba talagang, hindi, mga local lang kami 22. And then, thanks to Bato,
Ayun.
this is where I love Bato. Like, that guy is always, para siya yung kay Jonathan
The
Morales.
accidental
That guy really drops bombs, no? Para, no. What exactly what exact year did you start doing this? Sabi niya, mga ano po, around 2016.
Yun
You
na.
have to be sure. You're on the road. Sabi niya, 2016 po. Biglang gumanon si Bato. Tapos si Soto saw his opening, di ba? Biglang pumasok si Soto, di ba? And then Soto eventually brought it to, di ba, kayong na-appoint ni Duterte, ito yung DPWH
Yes.
na in charge ng clearing itong mga contractors, di ba? Biglang si Marco Neta, okay, I think you have your talk. Doon pa. I think that part for me, that was the highlight. Kasi parang feeling ko, the dateline matters eh.
Of
Kasi
course.
we have to understand kailan nagsimula itong bonggahan ng
Okay.
flood control and all. And we know it really started in the Digong administration.
Yes.
You can just see the numbers eh. Yes, lumala siya in the recent years. And that's why I'm critical of the current administration. But what I'm saying is, at least BBM is admitting it and trying to do something about. But etong negosyo na ito ay nagsimula talaga 2016, grabe.
I don't want to add na although may corruption talaga throughout history,
Oh,
you're
man,
right, you're
absolutely.
right, Richard, na lumaki talaga to at lumobo to nung panahon ni Digong. Why? Kasi remember, before Digong became president, our national budget was only at under 3 trillion pesos.
Okay, it
Okay?
had tripled, in fairness. He started at around 1 trillion.
Yeah.
Ganon kaganda yung economy natin and
Yeah,
expansion under
right.
Pinay, yeah.
Tapos, so obviously, the budget for the DPWH was a lot, way smaller. Then, Digong takes over, and then from under 3 trillion,
And many savings. Ang daming
ang dami
savings,
savings,
si Pinoy.
right? It started to balloon. And by the time he ended his term, our national budget was at over 5.8 trillion. Mga ganon. You can fact check
And our
me.
debt to GDP almost, doubled or something? Mga 20-30% lang pa nun ni Pinoy, I
Okay, yeah.
remember.
So the debt to GDP plus, for those that don't know, no, I'll give you absolute numbers. The worst part was, yung utang natin, ng utang ng Pilipinas, was around 6 trillion or less. Tapos by the time Digong left office, it was over 13 trillion pesos, over double. So tumaas yung budget, tumaas yung corruption. And sa mga nagsasabi na, pero build is the perfect mechanism, perfect vehicle for massive corruption. Okay? Because it's the easiest to cover. It does not actually create lasting change. Unless,
May ibang bill, alam ko it creates lasting change.
in people's lives.
Build.
Sure, yeah.
No. Build.
Yeah. Pero masasabi ko, yung ginastos nila, yes, there are some that are good, like the flyovers, skyways, ganun, great.
Well, I'm not sure about the Rockwell one. Yung maging ganyan tapos maging
Tapos
ganyan.
ganaro. Pero what they could have done, and this is where I would really hope that makinig ang gobyerno ngayon, is if you had spent all that money that they that they corrupted on flood control and actually put it on a national railway, because all that money
Correct.
could have built an entire national railway,
High-speed pa nga.
high-speed national railway system. That is good money spent. Kahit na sabi mo may nangurakot doon, pero pag meron yun, productivity goes up, GDP goes up, everything goes up. And at the same time, ang pinaka nakalimutan because they can spend so much money on DPWH is social services, healthcare, education. Yun na nakalimutan. And add to that, for those that don't know, na yung ginagastos para pag-build ng schools, that's from the budget of DepEd. Pero ang may hawak ng budget is DPWH. They're the ones that have the authority to spend it. So, yun yung problema. Kaya, ang dami talagang naging problema to. That's why I admire Marcos for calling it out because alam niya, people are gonna think what they're gonna think. But at the same
It's a
time...
it's a very risky move. But I remember, I was at the Batasan when the Sona was there. And nakita ko yung ganyan yung palakpak ng mga politicians. Yung tip of the finger. They were very excited to be fiscalized. Like, no, but going back to this, bro. The thing kasi is, they will always come up with excuses. Hindi, kasi pandemic nangyari, kaya nag-utang tayo. But my point is, just look from 2016 to 2019, so much was going wrong.
Yep.
And then, okay, pandemic, yes, no. But let's talk about Farmali, right?
Yeah,
Farmali
Farmali.
was really the tip of the iceberg that something really was wrong.
Yep.
Something mumbo-jumbo was happening. Kaya nga sabi ko, walang credibility magpag-good governance yung iba dyan if they're not gonna even mention
Yeah.
formally.
Yep.
Lacson knows it because Lacson and Dig Gordon were the guys who were over it. And remember, Digong bullied them?
Yep.
Sabi niya kay Dig Gordon, laki ng chan mo. He was bullying the senators who dared to go after the formally issue.
Exactly. If you're really the president
Walang
of the
excuse yung
country,
pandemic. That's corruption, bro. That's something wrong is going on.
why would he defend formally instead of defend our country? Defend the budget. Kaya talaga nakikita mo, come on, Digong is so transparent in how he acts. I am surprised na
That's why he
bubuli pa
gets
kayo.
away with it Kasi parang gagaguin mo yung sarili mo, it sometimes works in a reverse psychology way. You know, unfortunately, parang
Pag sinabi kong corrupt ako, matutuwa kayo sa
sabi
akin.
niya, joke lang. Tapos, he does that.
Yeah.
May ganun siya. He plays this psychological games. But, huwag naman tayo magmangmang. Di ba? Dude, just look at the numbers. Kahit anong sabihin mong maling ginawa ng mga admin ngayon. By the way, 2 out of 3 was unit team. So, may imprimatur si Sara. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't also look at the other ones. Ako sabi ko, go all the way to Aquino administration. Kaya nga the other day, meron kaming show na Safe House sa One News, di ba? Mga host kasama. Hinahanap ka ng tao sa hindi ito kasi mga host But yung mga audience, ba't wala sila Kristana? Sabi ko, iba to One News. By the way, I put Ronald on the spot. Sabi ko, isa sa dahilan na nanalo si Digong was not only in drug and all, it's because yung traffic, infrastructure, bottlenecks. We remember at 2015, horror, right? Hindi lang yung tanimbala. So when people kind of put Secretary Singson on a pedestal, ako naman ang concern ko is, malinis siya, maayos siya. I know that. I know from people dealing with contractors back in the days. Pero marami namang kulang na projects And Ronald's excuse basically was na hindi namin na-communicate na mabuti. And I said, but you were the political affairs secretary. You should have helped with communication. Sabi ni Ronald, hindi naman ako in charge. But anyways, my point is, hindi perfect yung Aquino administration. There was a lot of delays. They tried to do the disbursement acceleration program to make it faster, but that was unconstitutional. Check out my interview with Justice Carpio. Ang point ko is, medyo nahirapan talaga yung Aquino admin to get things going at the pace needed. Kasi times 3 yung cars Kasi in fairness naman, yung mayaman ng tao, tama naman yung sinabi ni Mahal Rojas, may traffic dahil umasen. So, except, ang mali yung labas
Yes.
Kasi you have to also build the infrastructure. But ang point ko is, for all the shortcomings of the Aquino administration, it was more of a crime of caution. Kasi ayaw nila nagkaroon ng corruption. Kaya sobrang ingat sila. Malinis sila.
Which is slow down.
And then yung Duterte time, pare. Kaya marami nag-benefit Hindi lang mga ito. Marami nag-benefit. Kaya I understand, for instance, if you go to Mindanao, there's no Mindanao Railway project ganun na gusto nila ng yung China project. Pero actually marami mga small and medium scale projects. Hindi ko alam kung involve yung mga contractors, mga kaibigan. But my point is, just because there was it's not like Duterte's money. That was a savings of Pinoy from our taxpayers' money. So we need to fiscalize that. Ano bang ginawa ni Digong? I'm glad that there were some small projects here and there and all of that because nag-double naman yung infrastructure spending as a share of GDP under Jokno. Mahabang usapan yan. Ang point ko lang dito is, huwag tayo magbulag-bulagan. 6 years si Digong. Sa 3 years ni BBM, 2 years unit team. That's 8 years, my friend. So if you don't talk about Duterte, but you talk about flood control and corruption all the time, may mali talaga sa'yo, pare.
You're a hypocrite. Your moral compass is off.
Absolutely, you're a hypocrite. Or worse. You're worse. You're weaponizing this to attack BBM and bring him down so that your own people will be in power.
Basically, you're only watching out for the certain self-interest. Yun And that's why ang hirap talaga na seeing what's happening now, for me, bottom line people, please talaga, just use kahit a little bit, 10% of your brain, you can see right through all the BS that all of these politicians are doing. And lahat tayo dapat nagsasama-sama tayo dito. Taong bayan, nagsasama-sama tayo dito against all the politicians. Huwag na nating sinasanto tong mga to at pinaninindigan at pinaglalaban sila. Because are you benefiting from it? I mean, unless you're benefiting, baka maintindihan ko pa. Pero if you're not, what are you fighting for? Really? What are we fighting for? Ako, obviously we're not part of the political elite. And that's why we have to speak out for the people that cannot speak out.
And if sometimes we criticize some politicians than others, hindi namin kasalanan na mas palpak sila or mas masama sila. Nagkataon lang na mas malinis si
Yeah.
Risa.
And-
Mas malinis sila.
Right, oh.
Kasalanan ba natin na wala silang ginawang mali? Kasi
Yeah.
baka Richard Duterte ka ng Duterte. Kasi 8 years out of last 10 years ay Duterte ay nasa poder.
Yeah.
Right? And marami silang mali. So, kasalanan ko ba to point it out?
Yeah, and I'm gonna add, that
Sorry, nag-gaslight kasi tayo eh.
Yeah,
Nag-gaslight tayo eh.
what was weird for me, was nung binanggit nga nila na, yan, labasan na yung baho ng mga sinazaldi ko daw. Pero, apparently, if I remember correctly, was it the Dutertes had a project with Zaldico? If it wasn't again, fact check me guys, I'm not sure. We're doing this live kaya...
Let's be honest, a lot of these so-called trapos or whatever, they didn't pop up out of nowhere in 2022 lang. They
No,
were
they
there
didn't.
for a long time, right?
Exactly, kasi for example, the DepEd laptop issue was from 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, that laptop scandal. If I'm not mistaken, number one, that was Duterte's administration. That was Duterte's DepEd secretary. And then Sara took over as DepEd secretary. And then suddenly, pero magkasabot sila doon. And then now, bigla na lang sinasabi ni Sara Duterte na, yan, si Zaldi ko may kasalanan yan. Alam ko lahat yan ng baho niya. Paano niya nalaman? Tapos pag tinignan mo yung connection, may connection si Zaldi ko sa mga Duterte. Because that's where he also made a lot of his money. A lot. Tignan mo yung flood control projects ni
the
Zaldi.
Congress used to be allies of Sara Duterte.
Yes.
Even when they're attacking Martin Romualdez. Martin Romualdez was the de facto chief of staff of Sara during elections. They were all together in this. So there's no way that you can attack the other side without reflecting on yourself.
Yes, kaya nga parang...
Unless kulto ka at you want to deny facts.
Na naniniwala ka na, eto tapos ito yung mabait? Oh, come on.
Come on, exactly.
Come on, really. Like, ang hirap makipag-usap sa inyo kung ganun kayo mag-isip. Kasi ako, again, I'm willing to accept. Corrupt tawag natin dyan. We agree on that. Agree ka din ba that eto corrupt din? Hindi mo matawag si Duterte corrupt. Then I cannot be your friend. My friend, kung ganyan. Hindi kaya talaga.
Yun nga, kaya ako, to end on this episode, kasi umiinit ng ulo natin, I talk about the Nepo kids para, speaking of build, no? I want to talk about build.
Yeah, that's a good one. Sige.
Mga OG. No, I mean, going back to this, bro, yun yung nakakalungkot sa akin. Kaya when that whole unfortunate Sub-Sahara thing happened, I really realized this is getting scary. Ano? Bakit? Not only for myself, na parang, you have the Dutertes and these politicians who are so good in exploiting regionalism, tribalism, na basically the idea is that either you're with us or with these enemies from Imperial Manila, ganon. And they make it an identity politics issue. And that's what allows corruption to fester. Because once you make it about us versus them, wala nang accountability. You know what? I can say that I'm from the North. I was almost born in Marcos Highway. Most of my life, I heard from people, not my own parents, in fairness, na Marcos was this, Marcos was that. And in fairness, Marcos Sr. brought a lot of infrastructure, electrification, because Ilocos, we used to be one of the poorest regions of the country in the 1950s and 60s. And then, grabe yung boom. Siyempre, Marcos took care. But I said, that shouldn't blind us to the Marcos Sr. dictatorship.
Yes.
And how he basically effed up the rest of the country.
Yep.
For every good thing he did in Baguio, because Baguio was really nice in the 70s, 60s, up to 80s, before the earthquake, 99. And yes, he brought electrification infrastructure. Pero wag naman tayong tribalistic na really just defend him. So ako, I'm a proud Ilocano who's proudly critical of Marcos's. From get-go.
Yep.
Right? Get-go. But I give credit also where credit is due. That's why I think, people see where people really use their brains, see where I'm coming from. So, sobrang nalulungkot ako when I see people defending Duterte just because, atin to, pre.
Right.
Kahit alam mo naman na kasama naman sila sa poder, di ba? And then they'll play these games na, pero mas malaki kasing budget ng flood control yung last year Yeah, dude, but nevertheless, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2010, mga Discaya pumasok sa 2016, that already tells you everything. Na itong modus operandi na yan, which creates all of these Nepo kids we're gonna discuss later on, all this build, but beneficiaries. This is a digong legacy.
Yes, it is.
Legacy ng Duterte administration, pare.
Yeah.
And if you really care about the Philippines, you'll go beyond this. Ako, ang daming galit ng mga dilawan sa akin because I also call out, like parang, I also call out, sabi ko, Aquino, ang dami niyang mga shortcomings.
Yeah.
Even see, I put him on the spot. Sabi niya, ito yung kakulangan niya. Nag-back and forth time. Binuli ko rin siya eventually.
Bilib ako. Good job,
It takes. No, but even with Pink Movement, ang dami kong criticism. Like,
Yeah.
when Bam and Kiko joined Majority, come on, I was throwing shades at the Bam kanina lang. I don't know, siguro kulang lang ako ng tulog. Di ba sabi ni Bam dun sa Esquire magazine niya, dumadami na tayo, huwag kayong mag-alala. Sabi, yeah, dumadami kayo sa majority ni Cheese. So I do those things,
Yeah.
right? So, I'm sorry, hindi ako kulto, right? I
Yeah.
am my own guy.
Yeah.
So, nakakalungkot when I see people nagbubulag-bulagan when obvious na obvious yung facts screaming in your face.
Yeah.
There's a 2019 report by Philippine Star na they tag a 300 billion pesos flood control scandal. 2019, this is before pandemic.
Yeah, that's right.
Ang laki. Guys, just go out and Google instead of watching these idiots na mga propagandists na bayaran. If you don't believe us, go ahead. At least check it out. Use your brain. DPWH, you go to their website. By the 5th SONA of Digong, he finished more than 11,000 flood control projects. Proud na proud pa siya. By the end of his term, more than 12,000 na ubos. And then you tell me, forget natin yung 12,000 flood control projects?
Yeah,
oh, by the way,
completed
and
now.
I'm sure the Discaya had a lot of contribution to those most amazing flood control projects in the world.
Yeah.
In the world. So, I just hope people understand, we can fight our little fights about sino mas magaling, sino mas pogi, sino ganyan. But guys, if you really care about our country, wag tayo magbulag-bulag. Let's not allow politicians use us.
Yes.
And let's not allow these politicos kanina sa Senate hearing na biglang pag ang topic 2016 or Duterte, biglang iniba. Let's talk about 2022 to 2025. That sounds very convenient to just completely overlook 2016 to 2022. When 2019 pa lang, the COA and others were flagging 300 billion pesos in questionable flood control project. We are talking about Farmali, we're talking about all sorts of different shenanigans. So wag sila magmaganda. I had Apa Ongpin, Executive Secretary of Makati Business Club on my show the other day. Alam mo, the business community, para sa kanila, Duterte are the most corrupt administration na nakita nila. Way worse. Kaya nga weirdly, parang impressed sila kay Marcos. But parang ako, I'm not that impressed with Marcos, but I can see where they're coming from.
Well, again, when you come from such a low
Base.
Starting point, everyone starts to look good. And that's the bottom line with this one.
And you look good, brother. So let's talk about the Nepo kids on our
All
next
right.
episode. Ito na, let's talk about people who look amazing people, wonderful people, beautiful people. On that note, thank you very much on this latest episode of Batman meets Superman. Talk to you soon, guys. Alright,
Yan, good job.
Okay na, live pa tayo.
Oo nga eh.
Okay,
Nice,
good,
daming
good,
ano.
good. Medyo
What's
excited.
up everyone? Wow, saya ng
bad.
mga to because they're getting a behind the scenes look on how we put together this
Absolutely.
content. And there's a lot of them right now. Corrupt. Yan ang ibig sabihin.
I thought kasi Bill is red talker. Alright, can we start?
Alright.
Pwede tayo ate? Ito, mas galog na natin. Medyo naging konyotic tayo masyado.
Ikaw lang yun pare, ako
Oo,
nagtatagalog.
Pero actually, konyotic na galing ko. Go? Okay na ba tayo? Okay. Cat. Two. That's French talaga.
Naging French.
Welcome back to
I
our
know.
wonderful episode, beautiful episode. Nagets ba ni ate na si Trump yung ginagaya ko?
Hindi. Okay lang.
Kilala mo si Donald Trump, di ba ganun siya? The most
most
beautiful
beautiful, yeah.
people. So, speaking of most beautiful people, bro, I love you, man. You know, one of the things I really love about your work, ikaw na yung parang postdoctoral specialist. Ikaw yung fiscalizer-in-chief ng Alice Go, ng Pogo, and it just happens, marami rin mga Chinoy na pala involved, no? The mga costs and all of that. So, for the sake of people who did not watch it, and I really recommend watch, sobrang nag-viral. Sorry to Mark Gamboa, hindi ka na number one. Si Mark Gamboa kasi first episode, first minute pa lang, number one podcast in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah.
I love that, guys. Sige na nga. Ang ganda na interview na with Vico,
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
But, dude, yours was amazing. So, how did you compile the Nepo Kids list? The Hall of Shame, let's call it.
So alam mo, for a lot of people watching, you have to use Reddit. Reddit is a very powerful tool kung saan makikita.
Yeah. Marami kang fans dun, ha?
Yeah.
You have a lot of fans on Reddit, brother.
Ah,
People
yeah,
love
okay.
you. They love you, yeah.
So what I noticed with Reddit is doon naglalabas na talaga lahat naman ng mga baho ng tao. And my God, it's like sharing of all this information of everything there, number one. Pero remember, not all of it is verified. So kailangan mo pa rin i-fact check itong mga to with news reports and other verifiable sources. So ginagawa ko, I go back and forth, checking the news, check several news items, And then going, PCIJ is an important source.
Yes, PCIJ,
Yeah,
yeah.
PCIJ is very important. Vera files. And then you counter-check everything to make sure. So ginawa ko yun, tinignan ko, and then I would look at the post. And then doon makikita mo na yung pattern eh. Tapos from there, na-realize ko talaga yung connection nung Sunwest, High Tone, at saka ni Centerways. And then si Centerways with Chisa Escudero. And then that's the one that gave the 30 million, di ba? Tapos that benefited
Na
without
bawal, dapat hindi sa contractor.
to begin with, and then made 5 billion in projects where she says, wala akong kinalalaman dyan. Pero teka lang, biglang from 5 projects, naging 40 projects in a year after ka nanalo, and you had nothing to do with it? Really? After they gave you 30 million. So parang gano'n. So, and I just tried to keep it short kasi alam ko that there was a lot to unpack. And there's more than just Nepo babies. There's a lot of ways politicians corrupt the money and launder the money. The Nepo babies is just one of them.
Yeah, let's talk about it. No, so I'm in Netflix series to, no? So ito yung top, kasi si BBM meron siyang top 15,
Yes.
diba, contractors. Ang suggestion ko, gawa ka rin ng top 15 dynasties na nag-benefit. Ikaw, paano mo na-compile itong top 5? Ano yung methodology, yung numbers?
Okay.
Ito ba yung pinaka-kumita or pinaka-lantaran yung kanilang fashion
Okay.
on Instagram?
Yeah, so there was really, I wouldn't say it's a methodology or a science. It was more, tinignan ko lang talaga from all the names I saw online that people were calling out, these are the ones that were the most prominent. Marami pang iba, but these are the ones that were most prominent, and I wanted to just make an example of what a Nepo baby looks like. So pinili ko sila na parang, yung isa customs isa customs yung tatay, yung isa contractor, yung isa politiko, yung isa mayor. So para makikita mo may broad
Walang
spec.
district engineer na mga anak.
Wala.
Kasi yung isang district engineer kanina, di ba? Grabe yung mga,
Yeah, well,
Ferrari.
Yeah. Yun na nga. Pero yun. So ginawa ko lang, I just created this of basically the women or the kids that were flaunting a lot of their money through lavish lifestyles, or isa yung debuba niya yun, yung magkano daw yung dress niya, ganun. Tapos,
Yung
tinignan...
dinner daw, 700,000.
Oh yeah, I did.
Ayun.
That's a satire. Yung
Satire,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't think that was real. So people have to be very careful what you see. So tinignan ko yung mga yun. And of course, yung OG naman, Kitty Duterte. Why? Because, and people were saying, mayaman naman yung pamilya nila. Alam po nyo yung logic na sabihin mo sa akin na, endorser naman si Kitty Duterte, may sarili siyang...
Kailan lang naman nag-endorse
Oo nga, wake and bake pa talaga yung in-endorse niya, di ba? Yung parang, wow, ironically, wake and bake is in-endorse
She
niya.
got that from the dad, right? Ang ginin mo na.
Di ba? Pero ang interesting doon, sinasabi nila na nagla-live selling naman daw siya. Alam mo,
Dude, you won't earn anywhere close to the stuff I'm
live
seeing.
selling.
There's no way you can make... To have that kind of lifestyle, you should earn 5 to 10 million a month. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Parang ganun ang dating ko.
Mahina ang 5 to 10 to be able to buy bags worth $1 million. And then that whole lifestyle, mga private, mga business class flights, no. Guys, use a little bit of this, yun lang. So mayaman naman daw mga Duterte dati. May nagka-negosyo ba mga Duterte?
Ano negosyo nila?
Exactly, mayor for over 30 years in Davao. The whole dynasty has been lording over Davao for over 30 years. Yan ang negosyo nila. Okay? Politika at yung mga naririnig ko nga ay meron silang nakukuhang pera from the drug smuggling and from the drug trade. Yun ang mga naririnig ko from his associations with Michael Yang. Tapos ngayon...
confidential fund pa lang, panalo.
Ayun, confidential fund pa lang, di ba?
Yeah.
Tapos hindi lang yun. Add to that, the China connection.
Right.
And not only that, ito yung mga naririnig ko na hindi ko pa nilalabas and I'm gonna explain it here. Alam ba nyo na, and mga Davaoenos, you can tell me if this is true or not, he owns practically all the 7-Elevens daw in Davao. Not just the 7-Elevens.
Yung apo daw, yung apo.
With the Duterte family.
And
And then the Dunkin' Donuts. Kaya nga sabi na may bago ng pangalan daw ang DDS. Hindi na daw Duterte diehard. Dunkin' Donut supporters na daw itong mga to. Okay, so gano'n. At lahat daw ng mga negosyo kailangan daw may cut daw mga Duterte doon.
ng Dunkin' Donuts.
Yun. Di ba?
Explains.
Pero yun yung nakikita kong problema dito is people are choosing to
No, they put the blinder bigla.
Yeah.
And then, love namin si Digong, walang ginagawa. No, I mean, people please watch my interview with Senator Trillanes. He said, alam niyo ba, makanong bayad dyan kay Kaufman na yan? Si Kaufman na yan, international lawyer yan. Ito ay kaibigan pa nila Netanyahu yan. Ito ay nagpe-PR. Milyones. potentially dollars.
Yeah.
Where does she get them? Where do they get the
Yeah.
money to pay that guy?
Yeah.
When she was gonna defend herself dun sa trial, which has not happened yet, na archive, the whole Fortune firm. You know how expensive that
Yep.
is, the Fortune firm? She's traveling all around the world.
Yep.
Hindi naman siya katulad ko na economy lang, tapos Ilocano pa na,
Yeah.
ganyan. These people travel nice and well and,
Yeah.
and they stay days.
With their entourage.
Entourage!
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. I'm sorry. So, kasi may mga say, oh, Richard, ikaw rin travel. Excuse me. First of all, these are paid speaking engagements kasi so bayad lahat. Most
Yeah.
of them. And the other ones na I pay, I get economy, promo, hello.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this by the way. There's nothing wrong kasi naman with listen, there's a lot of people with money where you can travel, you can afford a decent lifestyle. Walang problema dun eh. That's not
Yeah, we even encourage that.
Yeah.
Live your life, enjoy your life.
Exactly.
Pero wag lang galing sa nakaw or wag lang galing sa ano, di ba?
Yun naman yun. Listen,
blood money.
we know a lot of people that have a lot of money and they don't flaunt it the way these people do. And they live a good life. Walang problema living a good life. I want everyone to live a good life. It's just that the way they get the money is where the problem lies.
But don't you think that's why exactly they're flaunting in the way? Because they're like, if there's Nova Rich, this is like next level. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Kasi sobrang bilis yung dagsaan ng pera eh.
Yeah, yeah. And ang lala. Yung
Ang lala.
the way they flaunt it.
Sobrang kadiri. Imagine, you buy a car for the umbrella. I thought it was a joke. Kasi I had that episode with Jess Falsis, Attorney Falsis, and sabi niya, Richard, hindi ka kasi mayaman. Sabi ko, why would you buy 3 different versions of the same Rolls Royce? Ano yan, parang crayons, di ba? Sabi niya, Richard, hindi ka kasi mayaman. Iba yung Rolls Royce na meron siyang parang pang-icing ng wine, champagne, meron yung... I thought it was a joke. And I literally saw,
there's
I
an
literally
umbrella.
saw a spoof by Chevrolet Philippines selling their car kasama free umbrella. And then now, na tag-ulan, every time tag-ulan, nakalabas yung umbrella ni Discaya.
Ganun daw
So,
pala.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different level of new rich eh. It's just so, it's disgusting, it's decadent, and it's like in your face. I have friends who are self-confessed nepo kids, pero ito yung mga anak ng mga successful na negosyante na dinaan talaga sa entrepreneurial skills. I know nepo kids na dahil, you know, these are like generations of... This is not nepo kid, parang iba na to eh. This is, alam mo yung narco kids. Yung
parang gano'n,
Parang gano'n eh, yung level eh.
And I want to add that on that video, even Angie Mead King commented on the video.
Oh yeah, I saw I saw sa threads also nag-comment siya.
Yeah, so for me naman, like, you know, Angie Mead King is...
These are old rich people.
Very wealthy yung family nila. And she doesn't, you know, she doesn't flaunt it. Yes, she has nice fancy cars. Pero she doesn't...
She fixes it, she gets down in dirt.
She's not, that's just her lifestyle. Iba yung, hey listen, this is just my lifestyle, this is my car. Nakikita mo, yun lang yun. Or she talks about it because she's really a collector of something. Hindi yung ginagawa na parang talagang flex.
Na OOTD.
Yeah, na parang ano ba yan? So, there's a very big difference of one. Number two, gusto ko na kwento to sa'yo, Richard, na I'm gonna make a video about it, but I'll tell the story now na people were asking naman, paano naman daw yung kung ang nepo babies ay yung mga anak ng mga korap. Paano naman daw yung mga kabit ng korap? Anong tawag daw doon?
Wait lang. Paano ba ito mga my contractor, congressman? Is there like a term? So what is the term for that?
It's called sugar baby.
Oh!
Yeah, and I'll tell you why this is an important topic that I'll actually delve a little bit more into on the video.
Anak ng kabit ng korap.
Hindi anak ng kabit ng korap.
Yung
kabit ng korap.
Sugar baby.
Sugar baby.
The sugar mama. Yung anak nila sugar baby.
No,
yung
no,
anak
no.
ng kabit dapat sugar baby. Tapos yung kabit, sugar mama.
No. Sugar baby talaga sa kanila. That's really an official term.
Okay.
Internationally.
Sorry, I'm just introducing
Yeah,
you
on, so ito yun, like in the Philippines kasi, ito yung very popular to
Shout out
ngayon.
naman dyan sa mga ka-sugar natin dyan. Sugar in the house.
Very popular to sa Pilipinas kasi a lot of these politicians,
kabit talaga.
ang ginagawa nila is they buy multiple luxury condominiums.
Right.
They buy it to launder the money.
Right.
Kasi mahirap yung stacks of cash eh.
Yeah.
Sobrang daming cash. Even Magalong said it, yung sobrang daming cash, hindi mo na alam saan ilalagay, hindi mo na pwede dalhin sa bangko, ayaw mo iwan sa bahay mo. So you have a
Parang Pablo
luxury.
Escobar, nilalagay niya sa ilalim ng sol, tas nag-rat.
No, better to. They buy the condo and then they put the money they buy the condo just for the money. So the
Storage.
entire condo is a storage for the
Oh my
money.
God.
Yes! In the luxury condos in BGC.
Na sobrang well-protected. And all,
Yeah, of course, di ba?
So you have a safe. You basically have your private bank.
Exact, walk-in bank, walk-in
Oh, wow.
safe, o walk-in vault, ganun
Sarap
yan.
buhay.
Oo, na may sariling banyo yung mga pera para maikunaihi sila, o gusto maligo, pwede maligo doon.
Pero yung kabit pwede rin doon sa bank.
Okay, so ito na.
That's a flex, no? You bring your kabit to your bank.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome to my,
Take anything you want, di ba? It is so bad na they buy multiple condos.
Grabe.
Now, I'll talk about the inflation issue. Maybe I'll talk about it in another episode, not this one. I'll just talk about yung sa pera. So, yung condos na nabili, marami doon, walang laman. Maraming walang laman. Kaya that's why, pag nagda-drive around ka sa mga mamahaling condo, pansinin mo, sa gabi, hindi lahat ng mga ilaw nakabukas, maraming nakapatay. Because those are condos bought by politicians or criminals to launder the money. Now, eto na. This is the other side of it. This is where the sugar baby comes in. Then they see this really pretty girl, gusto na impress, sabihin nila, uy, bigyan kita ng monthly. Tapos tira ka sa condo. Tira ka na dyan. Hey,
So may
listen.
security guard ka rin. Free security.
Absolutely. Then bilang pa ng kotse.
Galing.
That's another way to launder the money. Right? So,
Nawala.
what happened?
Okay pa, sige na.
Ano nangyari?
Nawala bigla.
Okay, sige, start recording again. Sige, okay.
Yeah, we're good. May nagalit siguro. May kabit na nagalit. Baka malapit na kabit.
Yeah, so anyway, so ang ano ngayon, they give the money to the sugar baby, then they give him a car, they give her a car, and then they give her the condo. So great way to launder the money kasi ngayon lahat yan nakapangalan sa babae. Na hindi konektado sa
Yun ang Cayman Islands mo, yung front shell
Yun.
company.
Yes, and then ito na.
Wow.
Ito na. Okay,
Galing.
Hindi lang cash.
I'm learning a lot, brother.
Yeah, hindi lang cash. Ito na. Then they start companies.
Yun.
So these women will start a skincare company.
Yeah.
Their
Yun yung
own
shell company.
Yeah,
rin.
derma clinic,
Yeah.
laundromat, whatever.
Wow.
They will start a fashion line.
Right.
And then say, oh look, I have this business, I'm an entrepreneur, I am such
And then-
a successful
And then they
entrepreneur.
will do an inspirational story on a media show. Yeah.
Absolutely. Then they're
Right.
featured on all these lifestyle magazines, People Asia,
May term din dyan,
Mega.
bro. Reputation laundering.
Oh, perfect. So
Reputation
now,
laundering.
why would a sugar baby be the best way to launder money?
Galing, ha?
Kasi remember, as a sugar baby, you don't want people to know you're a sugar baby.
Exactly.
You want people to think of you as legit,
As an independent,
strong entrepreneur,
self-made.
and
Self-made, yun ang pinakagusto ko, yung self-made.
Exactly. And remember, hindi sila magsasalita. Bakit? Dahil kabit sila.
Oh.
Bakit sila magsasalita? Kung magsalita sila, ubus yung unlimited ATM nila.
Or worse.
Mabubukin
Or baka
sila.
may,
Sure.
Yeah.
Maraming pwedeng mangyari. And so therefore, it's in their best interest to keep quiet. And then it's in their best interest to keep their reputation by saying, look, I built this business on my own. So yun.
Bakit alam mo yan, Tristan?
Because
I'm
I
very-
actually...
I'm very impressed by your granular knowledge.
Because I actually met some of them.
Oh.
But they didn't know what they were revealing to me was actually lantaran na nakikita mo yung... Napapagano'n nga ako. Yung...
Like they were proud about the whole thing.
Hindi nila alam mali yung ginagawa nila. I'll give you a very good story.
So they thought they're being, parang sumakses sila. Tingin niya
Yes!
sumakses.
Okay.
So proud sila.
I'll tell you the
Wow.
story. I'll tell you one really good story. So I'm talking to a friend of mine. Sabi ng friend ko, Chris, alam mo, ang galing talaga nung kaibigan ko. So, bakit? Kasi, kilala ko yung kaibigan, may common friend kami. Mayaman yung common friend. Mayaman to. Daming Bitcoin. Daming crypto. Marami. Sabi ko, paano naging mayaman itong babaeng to? Sabi niya, galing niya eh. Alam mo, dati lang yan eh, flight stewardess lang. Pero one day, gusto niya daw, magnegosyo na. Tapos napanood niya si Duterte. I'm gonna name it.
Oh, may talagang inspiration.
Oh, inspiration. This is a true story, ah. And then after that, sabi niya, minessage niya si Duterte.
No shit.
Okay? First hand, like, kinwento to nung friend sa kanya mismo. Again, proud kasi nga. They were talking about it like, this is really what happened. So, Duterte said, come over to Davao. Apparently, the girls, fairly attractive as to Duterte's
And the
taste.
taste, yun nga, yeah.
Oh.
May specific taste.
May specific taste si Duterte. She flew over. As soon as she arrived, red carpet. Met with Duterte. Duterte even says, Have you seen Davao from the up there? No, never. Helicopter ride. Pinaikutan
Yun
pa.
yung helicopter na nagtatapon siya ng criminal allegedly, di ba?
Siguro that's the same one that he does that,
Yeah.
yeah. So helicopter ride yung girl.
Wow.
Tapos pagbaba, pinakilala pa, sabi niya, let's do business. Ayan na. Nagtayo ng mga negosyo tong babae. Then suddenly she was this successful
So
businesswoman.
basically, they're mules.
Yeah, so yeah, sure, money laundering.
They're kind of like, I would say, posh mules.
Yes,
right?
okay. Pero I don't think she was a sugar baby. I'm gonna give her that benefit na I don't think there was anything hanky-panky that happened. I don't know. But I don't know. See, but I like giving people the
Are
benefit
you
of the
telling
doubt.
me that Digong will meet a woman na taste niya and willing to trust millions on, and
He throws a lot of money at a lot
it's
of...
platonic relationship? Like,
No, baka the girl just maybe strung him along na parang, accommodate.
See you next week.
Oh, sure, gano'n. That can happen. My
Mas
point,
nakalimutan na yung
my
matanda.
point is this, hindi yan ang first time narinig ko yan with Duterte.
Oh.
Now I'm telling you guys this, that's a story connected with Duterte. I didn't ask for this story. The story came to me.
Yeah.
Okay? Because hindi naman alam nung kaibigan ko na, just nagkukwento lang na parang galing-galing. She was really proud of this, And I was just like, wow. I wonder if she's gonna watch this episode. She's gonna be like,
Wow.
oh my God, Chris, I just
think
exposed my
yung isa siya,
friend.
wow, wow, wow! Top of the world!
Yeah, thank you for it.
Palakpakan! Top of the
Yeah.
world!
And again, that kind of story,
Hindi naman siya na-feature dun sa mga lifestyle show na yan.
Hindi pa.
Hindi pa.
Medyo,
Malapit na.
medyo low-key
Low-
tong
yeah,
girl.
low-key.
Hindi siya yung nagpa-flaunt ng wealth.
Oo.
Having said that, meron naman siya iba nagpa-flaunt ng wealth. Nakaduda-duda yung yaman nila.
Yeah.
Okay, I just don't wanna name people kasi, listen, I've seen these women...
No, we're just explaining the modus operandi.
Yeah.
We're not here to
I-
mitigate anyone.
No, yeah, I don't
We're
wanna
just
do
explain
that.
how it works, the
Yes.
business model. Yeah.
Yeah, but there are a lot of similar
Grabe,
stories like this.
iba.
So, that's why when you see a young woman na parang biglang, wow, may sports car na, or suddenly living in a certain
Nothing
place.
suspicious,
Na-
nothing to see here.
Yeah, I'm just saying that sometimes be a skeptic. Yun lang. Sometimes be a
Yeah,
skeptic.
ako naman
I am not
kasi-
saying that, if you're a young, beautiful woman na impossible that you can have your own
Yeah,
business.
because
No, it could
you can
be...
do Bitcoin business. No, but my
Sure.
point is the reason why I like this discussion is because it pushes it to the next level. Kasi ibig sabihin, hindi lang may sugar daddy ka lang kaya ganyan or sugar mommy whatever. Actually, kasama ka sa isang business model of money laundering.
Yes.
Basically. So this is like next level.
Yes. Can you imagine,
Yeah, bro,
Nasa
yeah.
pangalan ng babae, yung negosyo.
Yes, yes.
Money,
Yeah.
cash is being funneled to her. Then the business looks like it's making money. And then now the money goes back. Malinis.
But that's my point, bro. Actually, AMLA can anything beyond 500,000 pesos automatically maano yan eh. Magkaroon ng notification yan eh. So how do they
Okay.
circumvent that?
So actually, it's a misnomer. It doesn't automatically mean mafa-flag yan pag 500,000. Mafa-flag yan pag 500,000 if it's an unusual transaction.
Unusual transaction.
Pero if the transaction is usually around 500 to 1 million to tuloy-tuloy,
Every month.
every
okay,
month,
yeah.
hindi yan mafa-flag kasi it looks like a regular transaction for a big company.
Hindi siya yung
Biglang
na,
one day,
oh,
may 500,000. Ganun. Kasi 500,000 is not a lot of money nowadays. Na parang,
I'm just imagining the scale we're talking about. Baka every day may 500,000 na pumapasok sa kanilang accounts.
No,
Hindi
and-
kaya that doesn't raise
and
suspicion.
remember that a lot of times, it's all cash.
Sabagay, they don't even put it anywhere.
They don't put it in the
Yeah.
bank a lot of times. And believe me, I
Sabagay.
have
Baka walang
met...
contact talaga. Tracing, walang tracing.
And I have met people, ito nung sinasabi ko, I don't know why this information goes to me.
Because maybe you look like a pogo. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. I'll give you another one. I had an experience where literally
Oh my
somebody
God.
was holding 15 million pesos.
Jesus
And I'm
Christ.
with this person. And
Ano
I'm
ba,
like,
Louis Vuitton ba? Or ano may
no,
bag?
just a
niya?
bag lang, a regular bag. I'm like, ano?
15 million. Wow.
15 million, I've seen 15. Talagang, gita ko.
Parang very pogo yun yung ganyan.
Pero yung pagdating sa akin ng tao, parang wala lang. Hindi, dadaling ko lang to para sa tito ko. Anong negosyo nyo? Contractor.
Ay,
And I'm like, oh yeah, may project kami, dadaling ko lang. I'm like, oh my God, sabi ko.
Alam mo na.
Tapos hindi na ako uminig. Tahi, alam mo, as usual.
Yeah, parang-
Nagugulat ako why they're so honest with me. Ano ba akala nyo sa akin? So I just went, oh, okay, geez, okay, Chris, pwedeng lang, iwan lang. We were, parang, can I just leave it in your car sandali? I just have to, I'm like, oh, I'm not, no,
No,
hell.
baka manahan ko yan.
Oh, hell.
Barilin ka.
Oh, hell no, sorry,
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not touching it.
Baka may maano ka pa.
May mangyari pa sa akin. So, there's a lot of stories like that. And That's just the tip of the iceberg.
But that shows also the culture of impunity. I think the reason why they're so relaxed to talk to anyone, including you. I mean, you're a nice guy, given yan. But I'm just saying, sa sobrang lantaran, impunity culture, I think these people just, yeah, this is how as someone said, top of the world na sila eh.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't know. I don't know talaga. Hindi ko talaga maintindihan.
So these are psychopathic people.
Hindi. Ganito.
So,
In fairness, sige,
sila,
ganito.
wala silang conscience.
Hindi, ganito. Hindi naman kasi sila yung may-ari ng kumpanya, parang gano'n, na akala nila, totoo naman may proyekto kami with the government, they just paid, kaya lang it's in cash. In-cash namin.
Yeah, I'm sure alam nila there's a dipping of the
Na bakit ano?
Yeah, I don't buy that, man. I think either these are psychopathic people or ano lang sila, na-desensitized kasi they keep on getting
They
away
keep
with
getting
it. It's normal. That's how it works. Success. Gusto mong yumaman, that's the way to do it. Kaya nga sabi ko, the first thing we have to do is to deal with the culture of impunity. And it won't be enough just to call them out and push them into private mode in their Instagram, whatever. You really have to have a kind of a ombudsman coming in, a people's commission coming in, everyone coming. This is where I actually like what Chelo Magno is doing, Heidi Mendoza is doing. Ito na yung time nila. Actually, now I'm their student. I'm following them. I'm reading their stuff. I'm trying to learn from them. Kasi earlier this year, let's be honest, I was a bit critical kasi feeling ko, you're getting ahead of yourself by saying this is the worst budget again because you're giving ammunition to the DDS.
Yes.
And guess what? I was right. That was exactly what happened, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I cannot say more baka may contempt ako, but I've talked to many people at the highest level. Basic ideas that, napaka-corrupt naman lahat eh. So basically, bakit pa naman impeach? Alam mo yung mga ganon? So honestly, I still stand by my criticism. Now be careful about demonizing what's happening now as if it's exceptional. It's not. Things have been bad for a long time.
Yes.
But at the same time, I think this is the time that we all have to work together, brother. And I think I'm very glad there are people like you na kayang mag-explain na sobrang animated, na parang dalawang lasinggero lang nag-uusap. And then alam mo naman, genuine ka, hindi ka nang bobola eh. Pag si Ronald Llamas, alam mo nang bobola siya eh. Alam mo naman ano sabi ng mami ko, pansin ko si Ronald, pag dalawa lang kayo, medyo mabait siya, or puro kayong lalaki. Pero kung may iba, biglang nagmayayabang siya. Nahuli ka kay si Ronald, eh. Pag kunyari, 5 kami, tapos may di ba? Ginaganon niya yung katabi, nagyayabang na naman si Richard. So, yun, pero ikaw wala kang ganun eh. Wala kang bayad na bro eh. Very honest. Such good English.
And I want to add that I know so many ways to launder money because one time I was at a dinner, okay, with...
Baka because you do Bitcoin, they want to learn how to Bitcoin.
Yeah, maybe they want to...
No offense, yeah. Bitcoin is a very good way to launder
money, absolutely. And
I'll be honest.
Alam mo ba how many times I would get a message asking me, maybe may alam ko ba nagbebenta ng Bitcoin? Tapos sabihin sana, alam mo magkano? Kasi kailangan ko bumili ng at least parang $5 million worth of Bitcoin. I'm like,
yeah. I'm
sorry, no. Wala
300 million pesos.
Yeah, dude, find it somewhere else. Ganun na ako.
Too.
Nagugulat ako sa dami ng mga naghahanap ng Bitcoin pero they want to pay cash. Sabi ko, if you wanna buy 5, go on the exchange.
Exactly.
Kaya naman bumili yan. Hindi, kailangan cash. Ba't kailangan cash? Ayan na. So,
alam mo na.
I actually I knew a transaction that happened na literally, yung office nito ay medical supplies.
Oh.
Sa panahon to ni Digong, ha? Okay?
Sounds like family. Just kidding.
Medical supplies, maliit na opisina, maybe 15 square meter office, and I was like sitting in. Okay, I'm trying to not say too much about it. Basta, I saw this place and I was like, wow. And then dito nag-transaction, nag-get ko na money launder to. Kasi kausap ko yung mga bata niya. Sabi ng mga bata niya, yeah sir, grabe nga. Itong 2 million na transaction today.